In the small town of Ravenswood, nestled at the edge of an ancient and ominous forest, lived a man named Enzo. He was an ordinary person, leading an ordinary life, until one fateful evening when a mysterious event unfolded. It all began with a strange series of occurrences. Residents reported hearing eerie whispers emanating from the depths of the dark forest. Some claimed to have seen shadowy figures moving among the trees. Enzo, being a curious soul, decided to investigate. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the town, Enzo made his way towards the forest. The air grew colder, and the once familiar sounds of nature were replaced by an unsettling silence. Undeterred, Enzo ventured deeper into the heart of the dark woods, guided only by the faint glow of the moonlight filtering through the thick canopy. The twisted branches seemed to reach out to him like skeletal fingers, and the rustling leaves formed an unsettling symphony. Enzo's heart pounded in his chest as he pressed on, driven by an inexplicable force urging him to uncover the secrets hidden within the ancient trees. Suddenly, he stumbled upon a clearing bathed in an ethereal light. In the center stood an ancient, gnarled oak tree, its bark adorned with strange symbols. Enzo felt a chill down his spine as he deciphered the markings, a language lost to time. He couldn't resist the urge to touch the tree, and as his fingers made contact, a surge of images flooded his mind. Visions of a bygone era, of rituals performed under the moonlit sky, and of a pact made between the town and the forest flashed before him. Enzo realized that the whispers were the voices of the forest itself, echoing the secrets it held for centuries. Overwhelmed by the revelations, Enzo stumbled back, his mind racing with the weight of newfound knowledge. Little did he know that his journey had just begun, and the dark forest held more mysteries than he could fathom. Enzo couldn't shake the haunting visions from his mind. Days turned into nights as he delved deeper into the history of Ravenswood, uncovering tales of a pact forged between the townspeople and the enigmatic forest centuries ago. The ancient oak tree served as a conduit for communication, and the whispers were a reminder of the town's commitment to an otherworldly power. As Enzo sought answers, the townspeople grew increasingly wary of him. Rumors spread like wildfire, painting him as a bringer of doom. Undeterred, Enzo continued his quest, determined to understand the true nature of the dark forest and the price paid for the town's prosperity. One stormy night, as rain lashed against the windows and thunder echoed through the town, Enzo found an old journal in the attic of the town's library. The journal belonged to a long-forgotten historian who had documented the events surrounding the pact. Enzo's hands trembled as he read about the sacrifices made, the rituals performed, and the consequences faced by those who dared defy the forest's will. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Enzo sought allies among the townspeople who shared his concerns. Together, they unraveled the mysteries hidden in the shadows, slowly piecing together a plan to break the ancient pact without succumbing to the darkness that lurked within. However, the forest was not passive in its defense. Enzo and his allies faced unexplainable obstacles, and whispers turned into haunting voices that echoed in their dreams. The town itself seemed to conspire against them, as if nature itself sought to maintain the delicate balance struck with the dark forest. As Enzo and his companions faced challenges and betrayals, they knew the path to liberation was fraught with peril. The dark forest, once a source of prosperity, had become a malevolent force that demanded a reckoning. The townspeople were divided between those clinging to tradition and those yearning for freedom. The air in Ravenswood crackled with tension as Enzo and his allies forged ahead with their plan to break the ancient pact. The townspeople, torn between loyalty to tradition and the desire for liberation, watched as the unfolding events threatened to unravel the fabric of their existence. Enzo's research led him to a forgotten shrine deep within the dark forest, a place where the townspeople had once conducted their rituals. The shrine emanated an eerie energy, and as Enzo and his companions approached, a sense of foreboding gripped them. The whispers intensified, growing into a cacophony that reverberated through the ancient trees. Undeterred, Enzo began the process of dismantling the ritualistic symbols etched onto the shrine. Each stroke of his hand felt like a rebellion against the oppressive force that had held Ravenswood captive for centuries. Yet with each symbol erased, the forest retaliated, sending tremors through the earth and conjuring illusions that tested the resolve of those attempting to break free. As Enzo's determination wavered, a spectral figure materialized before him, the guardian of the dark forest. Cloaked in shadows, it spoke with a voice that echoed through the very fabric of reality. "You dare challenge the pact that has sustained this town for generations," it intoned, its words carrying the weight of centuries. Enzo, fueled by the conviction of righteousness, stood his ground. He questioned the fairness of a pact that demanded sacrifices and held the town hostage. The Guardian, unmoved, warned of dire consequences should they persist. The forest, it claimed, was a living entity, intricately connected to the fate of Ravenswood. As the confrontation unfolded, the townspeople grappled with their own beliefs. Some clung desperately to the familiar, fearful of the unknown that lay beyond the pact. Others, inspired by Enzo's courage, dared to hope for a future free from the haunting whispers and the oppressive shadow of the dark forest. Enzo's allies rallied behind him, each facing personal trials as the forest tested their resolve. Betrayals, illusions, and unearthly challenges stood in their way. Yet, with each obstacle overcome, they inched closer to liberating Ravenswood from the ancient curse. The climax approached, and Enzo found himself standing at the heart of the forest, facing the final ritual that bound the town to the dark forces. The Guardian loomed, a formidable adversary, but Enzo's determination burned brighter than ever. The fate of Ravenswood hung in the balance as Enzo prepared to confront the Guardian and shatter the chains that bound his town to the malevolent grip of the dark forest. The conclusion of this harrowing tale awaited, and the outcome would determine whether Ravenswood would find redemption or succumb to the shadows that lurked within. Compelled by a strange empathy, Alex vowed to help free the tormented soul. Little did he know that his decision would unravel a series of dark secrets hidden within the Blackwood Forest, secrets that entwined the fates of the living and the dead in a web of intrigue and despair. Determined to unravel the mysteries shrouding the haunted mansion, Alex embarked on a quest to piece together the tragic tale that bound the spirit to the forsaken place. Through old diaries, hidden letters, and faded photographs, he discovered the story of Isabella, a young woman whose life had been marred by betrayal and tragedy. Isabella's lover, a nobleman from the village, had promised her eternal love only to cast her aside for another. Consumed by heartbreak and despair, Isabella's anguish manifested in a curse that trapped her spirit within the mansion, where she played the haunting melody that echoed through the halls. Driven by a newfound purpose, Alex sought out the local wise woman, a mysterious figure said to hold the key to breaking the curse. The wise woman spoke of a long-forgotten ritual, one that required courage, sacrifice, and a deep understanding of the pain that bound Isabella to the mansion. As the moon cast an eerie glow on the Blackwood Forest, Alex gathered the necessary items for the ritual. He returned to the mansion, the air heavy with anticipation. Isabella's spectral figure awaited him in the grand hall, the piano standing as a silent witness to the unfolding events. Guided by the instructions of the wise woman, Alex began the ritual. Candles flickered as he recited incantations, and the mansion seemed to come alive with an otherworldly energy. Isabella's tormented cries echoed through the halls, intertwining with the haunting melody of the piano. In a climactic moment, as the ritual reached its zenith, Alex confronted the spirit of Isabella. With empathy and understanding, he offered forgiveness to the betrayed soul, breaking the chains that bound her to the mansion. As the last note of the haunted melody faded away, the oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the mansion fell into an eerie silence. With the curse lifted, the Blackwood Forest seemed to exhale a sigh of relief. The shadows retreated, and the twisted branches no longer whispered ominous secrets. Isabella's spirit, freed from its spectral prison, ascended into the ethereal unknown, leaving behind a sense of peace that hadn't been felt in centuries. As Alex emerged from the mansion, he found the village transformed. The once dreaded Blackwood Forest became a place of tranquility, and the locals, who had long avoided the woods, now ventured into its depths without fear. Alex had become a hero in the eyes of the villagers, the one who had unraveled the dark mysteries that had gripped their home for generations. However, as he prepared to leave the village, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that the story of the Blackwood Forest was far from over. Whispers lingered in the wind, suggesting that other spirits still roamed the depths, their tales waiting to be told. And so, with a sense of both accomplishment and curiosity, Alex set out on a new journey, knowing that the darkness he had faced was just one chapter in the enigmatic history of the Blackwood Forest. Little did he realize that the shadows, though momentarily dispersed, had a way of creeping back when least expected, and that the forest held more secrets than he could ever imagine. Deep within the heart of the ancient Blackwood Forest, where the shadows clung to the trees like a veil of darkness, lived a small village. It was a place untouched by modernity, shrouded in mystery and whispered tales of the sinister events that occurred in the dark woods surrounding it. In this secluded village resided a young man named Alex. With his adventurous spirit and a penchant for exploring, he often found solace in the eerie embrace of the Blackwood Forest. The locals warned against venturing too far into its depths, sharing stories of those who had gone missing, never to return. One ominous evening, fueled by an inexplicable curiosity, Alex decided to delve deeper into the heart of the forest. The twisted branches overhead cast ominous silhouettes on the forest floor as he pressed on, the crunch of leaves beneath his boots the only sound that accompanied him. As the daylight waned, Alex stumbled upon an ancient, dilapidated mansion hidden amidst the dense thicket. Intrigued, he pushed open the creaking door and entered a world frozen in time. Dust-covered furniture hinted at a life long extinguished, and faded portraits on the walls whispered of an age gone by. The air grew colder as he explored further, each step echoing through the desolate halls. A strange sensation washed over him, a feeling that he was being watched. Unnerved but resolute, Alex pressed on, drawn to a mysterious presence that seemed to linger in the shadows. As Alex delved deeper into the mansion, the atmosphere became increasingly oppressive. Flickering candlelight revealed glimpses of forgotten rooms and abandoned chambers, each holding its own secrets. The walls seemed to close in, and the air grew thick with an otherworldly tension. Suddenly, a haunting melody echoed through the empty halls, a melancholic piano tune that sent shivers down Alex's spine. Intrigued and unnerved, he followed the haunting music, leading him to a grand hall with a grand piano at its center. To his shock, the piano played itself, as if guided by an unseen force. The ghostly notes filled the room, creating an ethereal ambience that left Alex paralyzed with fear. In the dim light, he glimpsed the figure of a woman, draped in a tattered gown, her back turned to him as she continued to play the spectral melody. Summoning his courage, Alex approached the piano, the air growing colder with each step. As he reached out to touch the mysterious pianist, she slowly turned, revealing hollow eyes that seemed to pierce through his very soul. A voice, both haunting and sorrowful, whispered from her lips, recounting a tragic tale of love and betrayal that had trapped her spirit in the mansion for centuries.